continue. We're now going to kick off with the first wine, and that is the Chateau Sainte, correct one?
So we are tasting first the 2013 Chateau Sainte Colombia Valley Syrah. The Colombia Valley has very loose soil, like a sand trap. Like if you play golf, like a sand trap. And so these soils cannot retain a lot of water.
Okay.
And I told you it doesn't rain in Washington where we grow our grapes.
Yes.
And so we take the water from the Columbia River and we irrigate these vines. And that sandy soil allows us to actually irrigate the vines today. And if the vine doesn't take the water, tomorrow the wine is gone. The water loses
very quickly.
Very quickly. And so it's very easy for us to get the vines under stress.
Okay.
And putting the vine under stress is important because you can actually push them in to put all their energy onto the cluster. They forget they have leaves and canes and roots, and they focus on the cluster.
If you just look at the color, and this is always something, have a look yourself. This is very intense. It's very concentrated. It's not black as the night, but it's like a really dark ruby red.
It's like a purple tone to it.
And it's from the nose. It's very concentrated. You get like a little bit of almond, a little bit of marzipan in the nose. You get the really ripe red berries.
I told you how we co-ferment some Viognier with it, so there's elements to the wine that are not normally present in red wine, like maybe some lavender, or like violet.
But on the palate, this is extremely fine. The tannins are really well integrated in the wine. It has like a wonderful mouthfeel, the viscosity. You get your licorice, you get a little bit lighter pepper of the Syrah, very supple. It's very playful. It is something you should eat with. You should enjoy a nice steak with this. It's a wine to enjoy with dinner.
It has a lovely acidity that will play out very nicely with food as well. It's bright, full of fruit.
It is playful. In German we would say it's a little bit frech. It's a little bit bold, but it's very present, it's very playful. For me, how do you score this? For me, this is something I'd say 89 to 90. Why? Because it really displays the identity of the terroir. And at the end of the line is the grape, nothing else than a vehicle to bring the terroir into the glass. And that has worked out really well here. So if this continues, I'm very happy.
So second wine is from a state in Eastern Washington called Columbia Crest Winery. And this is our H3 tier Cabernet Sauvignon from 2013 as well. We call that wine H3 because the grapes that we use to make this wine are grown in the Horse-Heaven Hills.
Okay.
It's a sub-appellation of the Columbia Valley. It's also sandy soil. Same, really hot days, really cold nights allow us to keep a lot of natural acidity.
This just keeps going. This is a really long finish. And this is wonderful because this is such a great ambassador. This is like, if you could see or feel what I have in my mouth, it's very like a beautiful symphony. It's wonderful. So let's continue with the second one.
The second one.
Cabernet Sauvignon H3.
Cabernet from the Horse-Heaven Hills, which has the same terroir of sandy soils that lose their water quickly, yet it's very, very windy.
Okay.
And so now the vines are under stress because of the lack of water and because of the wind hitting the canopies day in and day out.
The nose is very different, of course, different grape type, but it's a little bit subdued. You get a little bit, almost like a little bit of a subdued Bordeaux-esque nose to it.
Cabernet grows wonderfully in Washington, I think in part because we grow our grapes on their own roots. There's no rootstock in Washington because there's no phylloxera. And it shows a typicity that's unique.
This is really very, it's funny, my friend Sebastian, you'll see him at more tastings later on today, but I'm wondering what he thinks of this wine because this will be a challenge for him. Because this is a wine you can chew a little bit. It has a lot of volume, it has a lot of personality, and it has all the ingredients of, let's say, something you can just, I'm just thinking, especially if you're in the state of Washington where the weather is not that great 9 months out of the year, sit in front of a nice fireplace and you enjoy a glass of this.
I think Washington walks really nicely this fine line between having wines that are present and tannins that are evident, yet high quality, so they're silky and very long.
This is very well made, very well round. tannins again, very well introduced. This is very good winemaking.
Yeah. Thank you.
You get the cream, you get a little bit of the butter. This is like blueberry pie, I would almost say.
Yeah, very high tone fruits.
Yes. And this is like summer in a glass. But with the acidity and the tannins to keep it down, so you're not subdued by the fruit in the wine.
Right.
And this has personality, and that's something I always look for. Wines are like people. Some of them are exciting, some are boring, some are intellectual. This is exciting and intellectual. This is really, for me, 89.90. Why? Because this is very. How long has this been open, by the way?
Couple hours, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe an hour and a half.
But it's the nose. What it lacks on the nose, it builds up in the glass, and it's better that way than the other way around. We go to number 3.
We go to number 3. Also a Cabernet Sauvignon from the Colombia Valley. This is also Colombia Crest winery. Yet it's our reserve line, which is the top of the winemaking that we do at Colombia Crest.
Okay.
This wine is 100% Cabernet. It ages in 100% brand new French oak for 26 months. It's a longer aging.
20 months.
26 months in oak and then 8 months in the bottle.
Is it new oak or
100% brand new French oak.
Okay, and what type of toasting?
Some of them are medium,
Yeah.
and some of them are what we call medium long, which is a medium toast of temperature, which is a little longer toast.
That is interesting.
So it goes a little deeper, right?
I'm very curious about that because that will leave a huge signature on the wine, and that can be very challenging for the winemaker.
Very much so, right?
Yes.
Because it can overwhelm the nuances of the wine and the complexities of the wine.
That is
right?
not easy. So, but again, the color is so beautiful. It's so full of life. And I just have to show you this again, but you should try this. This is so much. It's not fun. I always call this like this is adult Disneyland. This is so wonderful. And if you give it a shaky shake, from the nose as well. The nose is a little bit timid. You get like a little bit of very young fruit, not that ripe, but I'd say from knowing what is coming our way, this will be a very big experience as well on the palate.
And it just represents another version of Colombia Crest Cabernet, so it makes sense that the nose expresses itself like H3, just like its bigger brother, older brother, more experienced brother. It has a lot of olives on the nose.
It's a little bit salty. You get a little bit coast.
It's a little middle.
Which is Seattle has a beautiful coastline, so if you're around there, visit.
Right.
The tannins grip you. It's in a good way. As tannins, they're fine, but they're there, they're present. If you then look at the fruit that's happening, oh my God, you get a little hint of tree fruit, but it's mostly berries that are all playing along nicely, all well integrated. But again, this is big wine. These are, so when you're visiting Napa Valley, drive up. It's a beautiful drive to
go up a little bit, yeah.
Because this is something, I'll be honest with you, this will be not everybody's cup of tea, because it's wonderful, but it's something you have to work your way up to appreciate this. Because it's a little bit deeper. It's like summer literature, that one falls asleep, the other one is excited, reaches to the end. It's a wine like that. For me, again, I don't want to be boring as we just kicked off, but the level, the playing field is already very high. And this for me as well, this is something 90 to 91. Why? Because everything ties in together. But again, wine is a personal thing. Like, drink it, say what you think, you might disagree with me as people. But I'm excited about this one, as this one has an additional history.
Right. So we go to a state that we co-own with the Antinori family from Tuscany.
Yes.
Piero Antinori and his winemaking team came to Washington in the late 70s, and they decided it was a beautiful place to grow grapes, and they wanted to get into the business, and so we started making Solare shortly after. This is a wine that we made together for many years at Chateau Sainte, and then in 2005 we built a winery in Red Mountain just to make this wine. So now this is Cabernet based, about 70% of the wine.
This is very different, very similar from color, by the way, all of them. So,
it's Cabernet, but now we introduce Cabernet Franc, Merlot, and Syrah. So we introduce different layers of complexity by bringing other varieties to the table.
You get a little bit of nettle in the nose.
This is also from Red Mountain appellation, which is at the end of the Yakima Valley, and it's the hottest appellation in Washington when it comes to temperature. So the wines tend to show a little bit more mineral tone and a lot of fruit. really ripe fruit.
Something I forgot about this one is where the scents are being overwhelmed. If there is a best of breed, how to integrate the oak into the wine, this is special.
Because we talked about 26 months of new oak,
Yes.
and you were expecting maybe a lot of oak, and I think
This is fantastic.
we have riven that oak into it very nicely.
Absolutely. So on the nose, you get a little bit of, let's say, a little bit of pencil shaving that Sebastian likes very much. It's playful, it's young, but it's very supple.
Yeah, there's a little bit of, so there's the pencil shaving that Sebastian like, there's a lot of graphite and a little bit of leather as well, so a complex wine that has a lot going for it. And then in the palate it has the bright acidity that it's characteristic of Washington State, and it keeps these wines vibrant and then alive through the finish.
It's very young, something you can keep for at least another 10 years, something we haven't touched upon actually. But again, big personality wine, very well tied in together. And it has this little, I always call it like the little berry bakery on the mouth. It just keeps on going. It is light at the same time, but very concentrated. And for me, this is something I find very special. This is for me a 92. Why? Because everything, it's light. And Sebastian will like this, as this is themed for Sebastian. But this is something Sebastian should try. And if he doesn't like it, tough luck. Because he will like it. So. But this is already the end, and I just want to say a big thank you, because I know you're very busy here. It's been a pleasure. And for you at home, as always, I wish you wonderful wines, wonderful food, wonderful wine discussions, and above all, try things out. I'll see you again soon. Ciao, bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.